My name is Diana R. Villarreal, and I am 32 years old. The night I planned to ask my boyfriend to spend the rest of his life with me was the same night he revealed, in front of my entire family, that I had already been replaced. The aroma of garlic, roasted tomatoes, and fresh basil filled the private dining room at Giovanni's, the Italian restaurant my mother had loved for years. Crystal glasses caught the warm light above us, and the low sound of conversation blended with silverware tapping softly against plates. My parents, Robert and Evelyn, sat at the head of the table beside a chilled bottle of champagne. They were celebrating their 30th wedding anniversary and my mother's 60th birthday on the same night. I had spent months organizing every detail because I wanted the evening to feel unforgettable. I had no idea how unforgettable it would become. My older sister, Melissa, sat across from me with her husband, Aaron. My Aunt Christine and Uncle Paul were discussing their latest cruise, while my cousin Ethan kept glancing between his phone and the conversation. Everyone looked relaxed, happy, and completely unaware of what I was carrying in my pocket. Beside me sat Jason Mercer. He wore a dark suit and the charming smile that had convinced nearly everyone in my family that he was already one of us. He had spent dinner entertaining my father with stories from his marketing job and joking with my mother about her obsession with Italian desserts. My mother caught my eye and gave me a subtle nod of approval. My heart swelled. Jason and I had been together for 5 years. 5 years of shared apartments, long drives, quiet movie nights, difficult conversations, and plans that always seemed to include the word we. We had discussed marriage before, although never directly enough for me to know when he expected it. I had delayed proposing because I wanted the moment to be perfect. My parents' anniversary felt symbolic. Their marriage had survived financial struggles, illness, grief, and every ordinary pressure that wears people down over time. They had shown me that commitment was not a feeling that appeared magically. It was a choice made repeatedly. I wanted to make that choice with Jason. Inside my pocket was my grandmother's engagement ring, a simple gold band with one elegant diamond. It had passed through 3 generations of women in my family. My mother had cried when she gave it to me. "She would have loved knowing you chose someone to build a life with," she had said. Now, as dinner ended and dessert plates were cleared, my fingers traced the velvet box. Melissa noticed and gave me a quick smile. It was time. I pushed back my chair. The room gradually fell silent. "Everyone," I began, my voice unsteady at first. "I want to say something before we finish tonight." My mother's eyes immediately filled with tears. "Mom, Dad, 30 years together is an incredible legacy. You taught Melissa and me what loyalty looks like. You showed us that love is not only about happy moments. It is about choosing someone even when life becomes difficult." My father reached for my mother's hand. Then I turned toward Jason. He had been looking beneath the table at his phone. When he noticed the silence, he finally glanced up. "Jason," I continued, "you have been part of my life for 5 years. You have made me laugh, challenged me, and helped me imagine a future larger than the one I had planned alone." Something shifted in his eyes. It was not excitement. It looked almost like irritation. I ignored it. I lowered myself onto one knee and opened the velvet box. A collective gasp moved around the table. My mother covered her mouth. Ethan immediately raised his phone to record. "Jason Mercer," I said, looking directly at him, "will you marry me?" Silence. Jason did not smile. He did not gasp or reach for the ring. Instead, he released a long, theatrical sigh. "Oh, Diana," he said. "God, this is awkward." My hand began trembling. "Please stand up. You're making a scene." My mother whispered, "Jason." He ignored her. "No," he said loudly. "I can't marry you." The room became unnaturally still. Jason leaned back in his chair. "I didn't want to tell you this way, but you forced me into it. I'm seeing someone else." My stomach dropped. "Her name is Marissa," he continued. "We've been together for 6 months." 6 months. The number echoed through my head. 6 months earlier, I had taken care of him when he had the flu. I had helped him prepare for a promotion interview. I had held him when he complained that work was destroying his confidence. While I was supporting him, he had been building another relationship. Every late meeting, every hidden notification, every moment he angled his phone away from me suddenly made sense. I looked at his face. There was no regret there, only a faint, satisfied smirk. He wanted devastation. He wanted tears, shouting, and a public collapse that would make him feel powerful. I refused to give it to him. Slowly, I stood. Then I snapped the ring box closed. The sharp click cut through the room. I see, I said calmly. Thank you for finally being honest. His smirk faltered. I turned toward my parents. My mother was crying. My father's hands were clenched against the table. I'm sorry, I told them softly. I never meant to ruin your night. My father began to stand, but I shook my head. Then I placed my napkin beside my untouched dessert and walked toward the door. I did not run. I did not look back. Behind me, the room erupted into angry voices, but I kept walking until the restaurant's warm light disappeared behind me. The October air struck my face like cold water. I took one breath, then another. 5 years had ended in less than a minute, and although I did not understand it yet, walking away without giving Jason the scene he wanted would become the first decision that saved my life. I do not remember driving to Melissa's apartment. One moment, I was standing beneath the restaurant's awning with the cold October air cutting through my dress. The next, I was sitting in my sister's living room, still holding my purse with both hands as if someone might try to take it from me. Melissa knelt in front of me. Diana, she said softly, look at me. I did. Her eyes were red with anger. He is not coming near you tonight. I nodded, although I had not asked. Aaron placed a glass of water on the table and quietly disappeared into the kitchen, giving us space. For several minutes, neither of us spoke. Then Melissa asked, how long did he say? 6 months. The word sounded unreal in my own voice. She closed her eyes. I'm going to kill him. No. He humiliated you in front of everyone. I know. He cheated for half a year. I know. And he looked pleased about it. That was the part I could not stop seeing. Jason's face had not shown guilt. He had looked relieved, almost triumphant, as though he had finally gained the upper hand in a competition I did not know we were playing. I don't want anyone contacting him, I said. Melissa stared at me. Diana, please. No threats, no messages, nothing. She studied my face, then nodded. All right. It was the first boundary I had built in years. The next morning, I began removing Jason from my life. I blocked his number, deleted his access to our shared accounts, changed every password, and removed him from social media. I did not send a final message. I did not ask why. I did not demand an explanation. I already had one. 6 months of choices, 6 months of lies. By noon, my family had filled my phone with worried messages. I replied with the same sentence to everyone. I'm safe at Melissa's. I need time. Please do not contact Jason. For 2 days, I barely left the guest room. Then, on the third morning, my phone began vibrating without stopping. Messages arrived from friends, former classmates, co-workers, and people I had not spoken to in years. Melissa texted me from the kitchen. Check the internet. Ethan posted the video. My stomach turned. I opened my phone and saw the title immediately. My cousin's boyfriend of 5 years rejects her proposal by revealing his affair in front of her family. The video had been uploaded to several platforms. It already had hundreds of thousands of views. Ethan had edited it carefully. It began with my speech about my parents' marriage. It showed my family smiling. It showed me kneeling with my grandmother's ring. Then it captured Jason perfectly. His sigh, his irritated expression. Get up. You're making a scene. I'm seeing someone else. Her name is Marissa. We've been together for 6 months. The video ended on my face as I rose from the floor. The comments were relentless. What kind of man lets his girlfriend propose while secretly dating someone else? He could have ended the relationship privately. That smirk says everything. Within hours, Jason had become a meme. People placed his face beside movie villains and used his words beneath photographs of public betrayals. Someone nicknamed him the proposal executioner. Another wrote, "When your boyfriend treats 5 years like a free trial, I should have felt vindicated. Instead, I felt exposed all over again." But the situation became catastrophic for Jason when strangers identified his workplace and found Marissa. Marissa Cole was a self-described lifestyle consultant whose social media presented a polished world of luxury hotels, motivational quotes, expensive dinners, and carefully staged happiness. She was not prepared to be publicly labeled the woman who had carried on a 6-month affair. Her response came quickly. She posted a statement claiming Jason had told her he was single and that Diana was merely an obsessive ex who refused to move out of his life. Then she ended their relationship publicly. A mutual friend later told Melissa that Marissa had called Jason screaming, "You destroyed my name," she had said. "You told me she knew." Jason apparently begged her to wait until the attention faded. She blocked him instead. The woman he had chosen over me discarded him the moment he became inconvenient. A week later, I received a message from an unfamiliar number. "Diana, I know you hate me, but that video destroyed my life. Marissa left. My company suspended me. Everyone thinks I'm a monster. Please talk to me. This isn't fair." I read it twice. Not one sentence mentioned my pain. He was not sorry that he betrayed me. He was sorry that people had seen him do it. I deleted the message and blocked the number. 3 days later, Jason's older brother, Nathan, called me. "You need to tell Ethan to remove the video," he said. "Jason is falling apart." Ethan posted what happened. He lost his job. "That is not my responsibility." "You've moved on, but he is paying for one mistake." I felt something inside me become still. It was not one mistake, Nathan. It was a 6-month affair and a public humiliation. He said he panicked. No, he planned to hurt me. Nathan exhaled sharply. "Diana, have some compassion." I gave Jason 5 years of it. Then I ended the call. That night, another voicemail arrived from a different number. Jason's voice was no longer pleading. It was furious. "You planned that proposal to trap me. Your cousin ruined my life because your family cannot handle rejection. You did this to me." I listened until the message ended. Then I deleted it. For the first time since Giovanni's, I felt no grief, only relief. The man I loved had never existed, and the real Jason was finally revealing himself without anyone left to protect him. 6 months passed before I stopped waking up with Jason's voice in my head. At first, every morning began the same way. I would open my eyes, remember the restaurant, and feel the humiliation return before my feet even touched the floor. I heard his sigh. I saw his smirk. I remembered the ring trembling in my hand while my family watched 5 years of my life collapse. Therapy helped me understand that betrayal does not end when the relationship does. It lingers in the body. It appears in ordinary moments. A phone turned face down on a table. A partner coming home late. A pause before answering a simple question. My therapist, Dr. Keller, never told me to forgive Jason. She asked me something more difficult. Why did you believe his cruelty was something you had to survive quietly? I had no answer. The truth was, Jason's affair had not been the first time he made me feel small. It was only the first time he did it in front of witnesses. There had been jokes about my work consuming too much of my life, complaints that I planned everything too carefully, remarks about how other women were more spontaneous, more relaxed, more fun. I had mistaken his dissatisfaction for a challenge. I thought if I became easier to love, he would love me better. Now I understood that love should not require a person to shrink until they become convenient. I moved out of the apartment Jason and I had shared and rented a bright loft downtown. The windows stretched nearly from floor to ceiling, filling the rooms with morning light. For the first few weeks, the emptiness unsettled me. Then it began to feel like freedom. I chose the furniture. I hung photographs where I wanted. I left books stacked beside the couch without anyone complaining about clutter. I slept diagonally across the bed simply because I could. At work, I poured every fractured part of myself into the City Museum project. The design had been stalled for months before my firm assigned it to me. The original concept was cold and imposing, all steel and sharp angles. I redesigned the central atrium to flood the building with natural light, creating open spaces where visitors could move without feeling trapped. My supervisor studied the plans and said, "This feels different from your earlier work." "It is," I replied. I did not tell her that I had designed the building around the idea of escape. The project gave structure to my days. Contractors called before sunrise. Meetings ran late. Problems surfaced constantly. For the first time, exhaustion felt productive rather than emotional. Jason continued trying to reach me. He used unfamiliar phone numbers, new email accounts, and even mailed letters to my office. His tone changed depending on what he thought would work. Some messages were pleading. "I know I destroyed everything. I miss my best friend. Please let me apologize properly." Others blamed me. "You let the video stay online. You could have defended me. Your family turned one bad moment into my whole identity." Then came the voicemail that cut the final thread between us. I had just finished a late meeting and was sitting alone in my car when I saw another missed call from an unknown number. Jason's voice exploded through the speakers. "Fine. Keep ignoring me. Be a coward. You think you are perfect because everyone feels sorry for you? You planned that proposal to trap me. You knew I was unhappy, and you put me in front of your whole family so I could not say no without looking cruel." I gripped the steering wheel. His breathing was heavy and uneven. "Then, Ethan posted the video because your family wanted revenge. You all destroyed my life. I lost my job. Marissa left me. People recognize me in public. This is your fault, Diana. You did this to me." For a moment, there was silence. Then he said the words I needed to hear. "I hate you." The message ended. I listened to it again. Not because it hurt, but because something had finally become clear. Jason believed my proposal had trapped him, but his affair had not trapped me. His lies were understandable. His cruelty was panic. His consequences were persecution. In his version of the story, everyone was responsible except him. The charming man I remembered was not hiding beneath the rage. The rage was the truth. I deleted the voicemail and blocked the number. That night, I slept without dreaming about him. Nearly a year after the proposal, the museum opened to the public. Reviews praised the design, especially the central atrium and the way natural light moved through the building throughout the day. My firm nominated the project for the annual City Architectural Guild Awards. When the nomination email arrived, I sat at my desk and stared at it for several minutes. A year earlier, I had believed my future ended in a restaurant. Now I was being recognized for building something that would stand long after the scandal disappeared. Melissa helped me choose a dress for the ceremony, a deep green gown that made me feel elegant without making me feel disguised. As she adjusted the fabric at my shoulder, she smiled at me in the mirror. "You look like yourself again." I looked at my reflection. She was right. The woman staring back at me was not the one who knelt before Jason asking to be chosen. She had learned that rejection could be an escape. What I did not know was that Jason would be at the awards ceremony. And when he saw the life I had built without him, he would make one final attempt to step back into it. The City Architectural Guild Awards were held in the grand ballroom of a downtown hotel, beneath chandeliers that scattered warm light across white tablecloths and polished glass. A year had passed since the night at Giovanni's. For 12 months, I had rebuilt my life one deliberate choice at a time. Therapy, work, quiet mornings, new routines, boundaries that no longer felt cruel, simply because someone disliked them. That evening, my firm won Project of the Year for the museum. When my name was announced as lead architect, the room erupted in applause. I walked onto the stage wearing the deep green dress Melissa had helped me choose. The glass award felt heavy and cool in my hands. From the podium, I saw my colleagues standing near our table, smiling and raising their glasses. For the first time in years, I felt no need to prove that I belonged. I simply knew I did. After the ceremony, people stopped me to offer congratulations. My supervisor introduced me to potential clients. Younger architects asked about the museum's central atrium and how I had convinced the board to approve such a dramatic redesign. I answered calmly, surrounded by people who respected what I had built. Then I saw Jason. He stood near the edge of the ballroom beside a woman from a rival architecture firm. He appeared to be her guest, although his attention was nowhere near her. His eyes were fixed on me. Jason looked different. He still wore an expensive suit, and his hair was styled carefully, but the easy confidence he once carried was gone. His shoulders were tense. His expression seemed worn, as though every room now required him to wonder whether someone recognized him from the video. I looked away. Seeing him did not hurt the way I expected. He no longer felt like a wound. He felt like someone I used to know. Later, I stepped toward the bar for a glass of water and a moment away from the crowd. Jason approached before the bartender had finished pouring it. "Diana." I turned slowly. "Hello, Jason." His face tightened at the formality in my voice. "You look incredible," he said. "I saw you on stage. I'm proud of you." "Thank you." The praise felt empty. Once I would have treasured those words from him. Now they sounded like a stranger trying to purchase entry into a locked room. He twisted a cocktail napkin between his fingers. "I know the last voicemail I left was insane." I said nothing. I was in a dark place. I had lost my job. Marissa left me. Everyone hated me. I blamed you because I couldn't face what I had done. "I'm glad you understand that now." Hope flickered across his face. "I've been in therapy," he continued quickly. "I've changed. I finally see what I threw away." I lifted my glass, but did not drink. Jason stepped closer. "I need to know something. Is there any part of you that misses what we had?" There it was. The question he had likely rehearsed for weeks. I placed the glass on the bar and faced him fully. "I miss the person I believed you were." His eyes filled with tears. But I eventually understood that person never existed. "Diana. The person you really are was the man who lied to me for 6 months and then announced his affair in front of my mother on her birthday." His voice cracked. "People make mistakes. That was not a mistake." He flinched. "It was a choice you made every day for 6 months. You chose to answer Marissa's messages. You chose to meet her. You chose to come home and lie to me. Then, when I offered you my grandmother's ring, you chose to humiliate me." I panicked. "No. You enjoyed it." Jason looked down. That silence confirmed more than an apology ever could. "I did love you," he whispered. "Perhaps part of you did. But love without honesty is only possession." He wiped his eyes quickly and glanced toward the ballroom, where my colleagues were laughing beside the award table. "We could try again," he said. "Slowly. Nobody has to know." I almost felt sorry for him. He still believed secrecy could repair what secrecy had destroyed. "No. Diana, please. You taught me something valuable." He stared at me. "What?" "You taught me never to give another person complete control over my happiness. You taught me that peace is not boring, and loyalty is not weakness." His mouth trembled. "I built a good life after you. It is calm, meaningful, and entirely mine. I will not let you return and disturb it." "So that's it?" "That was it the night you chose Marissa." I picked up my award from the bar. "Goodbye, Jason." I turned before he could respond and walked toward my colleagues. My supervisor pulled me into a conversation about another major project. Someone handed me champagne. Melissa, who had arrived after the ceremony, wrapped an arm around my waist and whispered, "You okay?" I looked back once. Jason stood alone beside the bar, small and motionless in a room filled with warmth. "Yes," I said. And I meant it. He was no longer the man who ruined my future. He was simply the person who forced me to create a better one. I faced the people waiting for me and raised my glass. For the first time, The story belonged completely to me.